Yeah, so as I was introduced in this warm welcome, thank you. My name is RAJN. I'm from the city of Križevci in Croatia, but I'm fond of your trying. Hopefully by the end of this day you will remember Križevci. It is a town 55 kilometers northeast from our capital of Zagreb. And it is a rather small city, like 20,000 inhabitants, but in Croatian terms it is among bigger ones, meaning we are among 20 of the biggest ones in Croatia. So back in 2017 I was elected as an independent mayor. I'm emphasizing that because I really have a great team supporting me, and we started from first day and actually in the campaign from this agenda that we want to make a radical change in Križevci towards energy independence and climate neutrality, and all that by the year 2030. So we got elected in May of 2017. We got that summer used for doing some SECAP analysis, not the SECAP plan itself, but we got some initial data, and in September started to plan some concrete actions, meaning that, for example, in Križevci we know for the fact in that year, 2017, we had an electricity usage of 21 megawatt hour in the peak. We know for the fact that 45% of our CO2 emissions came from transport, 46% from the households and buildings, and out of this 46%, 75% comes from heating systems and 25% from the electricity. I'm doing an intro on the first slide because my topic is based on citizens, and you will see rather soon why is that important. So, do you hear me well? Sorry. Yeah, okay. In September we started with planning, we are going with photovoltaics on public buildings, heating systems we most definitely must improve. Back in 2015 and 2017 our national government started with energy recovering all the buildings, so we were partly covered from that point of view. And soon after September, we saw that with all public investments and all business investments, meaning that on business rooftops, if you put voltaics, you can't do anything significant if you don't include citizens. Yeah, and we started brainstorming. Hopefully, or luckily, we had great partners in Green Energy Cooperative, which is a national cooperative in Croatia, first one. And we started with campaign design that we wanted first public photovoltaics be crowd-funded or crowd-invested by citizens. And actually that is the next slide. I'm not sure who has the slider. This is, oh yeah, great. Thank you. First public photovoltaic was roughly investment of 30,000 euros. Obviously that could be invested from our city budget, but we didn't find it as useful as to include citizens. So we started from January 2018 back to May of 2018 with preparing campaign for crowd investment. Then in May 2018 we started with great crowd investing campaign on Indiegogo and got 58 investors that invested in our first photovoltaic on public building, and we got for our citizens 4.5% annually return on their investment for the next 10 years. And all that is done by paying electricity bill from our side, because this is obviously the public building, and this is actually the building which is on the lower part of the picture. On the upper part of the picture is the second campaign, which is on our public library. This campaign was 6 months after the first one, and it completely exploded, meaning we got funding in first 24 hours. Also, it was like 46 investors. Why is that important? The citizens became aware that photovoltaics and renewables and all the local sources can be implemented in public buildings, obviously, but most definitely in privately owned households. And Križevci, to become energy independent by 2030, need most definitely 1,000 households to implement photovoltaics, and hopefully half of them some district heating from geothermal. You will hear about that later, and some heat pumps and so on. So this was actually a great campaign to become aware, to aware citizens that this is a thing of the not future but presence. Sorry. Why was that a great success from our point of view? Because the citizens after this campaign got arranged in the first local energy cooperative, and right after that they opened first energy climate office in Croatia, which is on the upper part of the picture. And we got support, or we supported them in a way that we gave them the best business space that we have in Križevci in our public ownership, which is, you don't see it on this picture. It is on practically main city square. It is just right the sidewalk, and a lot of people on a daily basis go just behind or next to these doors and these windows. Why I'm emphasizing that? Because we didn't want to make support for Energy Climate Office somewhere on the second floor, third door on the left in the public administration building. We wanted to be as close as possible to our citizens. From that office we started, or they started campaigns. On the lower left picture, this is a project that got funded from European Union called Living Streets. They got some funding for city action climate in neighborhoods in Križevci. And they established what is called CLIC, or Križevci Laboratory for Climate Innovation. And they are working now for 3 years and got some great funding also from RAJN projects and so on. So this is most definitely a good thing, and even from day to day, even growing. This picture suggests urban gardening, which was also a part of city inclusion in our local budget, meaning that we established in 2018 an open source platform on our main page of city page. And right now in September, like this year, we are starting budgeting for the next year. And now we, through that open source campaign, citizens suggest what should be implemented in the city budget for the next year. What is most definitely must do for the mayor itself, the best ones or the top ones that citizens suggest must be included in the city budget. That's how you build a strong relationship on citizens with your locally elected government. And this is actually a point I'm trying to emphasize on a lot of keynotes. We are most definitely trying in Križevci to be those kind of politicians that not only talk to our citizens only one in a 4 year, but most definitely on a day-to-day basis. And that is, for us, done some great things, because we got re-elected in 2021 completely on the green agenda, meaning that you can do significant change in 4 years, but you have to be committed on a day-to-day basis. So this urban gardening thing, in 2018, planning for the 2019, it was the top project among the citizens. They suggested, okay, you have to make a part of what was actually a residential area or future residential area for houses. Please make some changes and do like 2,000 square meters for the urban gardening. We've done that. You can probably see on this picture in the back, new houses. As I said, this was first planned as a new residential area. It is still new residential area building, but 2,000 square meters we were we gave to our citizens for the urban gardening, and this is actually a great thing. In the last 2 years, it completely exploded. A lot of our citizens, especially this year, when the price of food are going extremely up, they are doing a lot of producing on their own. And after these suggestions, citizens started to suggest in 2019 for the 2020 that we should somehow implement in our local budget subsidies for the photovoltaics on privately owned rooftops. And actually this is the first two of them. So these are photovoltaics on the privately owned houses. And we started that in two ways, or via two calls. One call is for subsidizing the project documentation. And each year we are trying to make that from the, 10th of January to, sometime by the end of April. We are giving up to 600 euros for project documentation. And after that, in the second part of the year, like from August to November, we are opening a second call for the photovoltaics itself, and we are giving up to 3,000 euros for the equipment or the photovoltaic cells. In 2020, we had 3 rooftops. You see 2 of them on this picture. In 2021, we had 17, and in this year, so far, we have more than 70. Obviously, this crisis with Russian-Ukrainian war and so on completely led citizens to be fully aware of energy renewable sources. So we are giving as much as possible from our local income tax, which is like 10%, and roughly we got on a yearly basis 600 euros from that. We said in our campaign in 2021, and we are saying it from day to day, we are prepared to give each year all of this amount of 600,000 euros to our citizens, but for the green technology. Not only photovoltaics, that could be for district heating, that could be for heat pumps, or any other emerging technology. Obviously, we are looking also towards green hydrogen and so on. This is the project which is currently under preparation. We got the main project done. And I think it could be also a great project in the Croatia itself, because this is a photovoltaic power plant of 6.5 megawatts. But in designing the model itself, we said minimum 20% must be owned by citizens. And, okay, so, sorry, I'm doing a little... meaning what, or in what way we are trying to do that? We will most definitely establish a new joint stock company, and we are trying to make some kind of IPO, or not IPO, but public offering to our citizens, and especially citizens' corporations, because we want to also energy corporations make grower and grower. Why is this company or future company also a big deal for us? Not because of production of energy itself. We estimated current electricity prices that it could have a gross income of 1.2 million euros yearly, meaning on the number of solar hours in Križevci, but we want to use it for some kind of local ESCO system. Because when I was talking on prior slide about households that are putting photovoltaics on their rooftops, obviously these first dozens of citizens are those who have either money saved or they have a good bank credit score. But on the other hand, we cannot make or not to think of the poor people or energy poor people, because in our climate office we have a special part for energy poorness, meaning that if you have more than 20% of your monthly income that goes on energy expenses, you are practically energy poor. And we want to, this local company establish in a way that it could help with those kind of households, and especially those ones that they don't have either savings or bank credit scores. So they could implement photovoltaics on their roofs, and they could pay the rest of these 3,000 euros that we are giving them for equipment. Because obviously, photovoltaics in average cost in Croatia for average household, like 6,000 euros, we are giving 3, but 3,000 euros can be a great deal for someone who doesn't have savings or doesn't have amount. This is most seen among elderly people, but on the other hand, or citizens that are elderly or in pension, they are among the first ones that each month pay electricity bills. So I'm not sure if that is the case in Romania, but when you have people in pension, when the first of month comes or second, they are firstly going to pay all the bills that came, and whatever it is left, so we have to make by the end of the month. So hopefully with that amount that they are paying for electricity bills, that could be like a bank loan that they will give back to this local company. And we have models prepared, and hopefully by the end of next year, this will be implemented. I must be full disclosure, the technology itself, it isn't a problem. You have photovoltaics, you have inverters. This on the upper right part of the picture, we have some green hydrogen production in preparation, because this is on the 10T corridor of Mediterranean network, meaning railway. But this social inclusion or social cohesion, or implementing this new kind of business model that will most definitely include also the people that are rather poor, it is something new in Croatia, and on the other hand, it is something that is most challenging. This is actually, I think, not the last one, but just the last. Our geothermal drill, we have geothermal potential, and I'm very eager to hear what is done in Romania and Hungary. The administrative work in Croatia is significantly slowing this whole process, but we got funding from the project documentation, and hopefully in the next couple of years we will do some district heating with this geothermal drill, as we have water on 70 degrees, which is practically in the center of the town. I know that on this picture you cannot see the buildings surrounding it, but like in 300 meters, most of our schools, elementary, middle, and high schools, and even our colleges, like in the perimeter of 400 meters. So we will use it for district heating. And the last slide, which is more like futuristic, I'm not sure, you can see on the right, this is the part of the town which is already built, and on the left it is implemented a scheme which is completely in line with new European Bauhaus. We are very eager to listen on that initiative. It was told in the introduction that I'm also a board member in Energy Cities, and European Commission through Energy Cities and all other associations, and obviously through all of their projects, are trying to make new European Green Bauhaus the main communication platform for all of their objectives, and most of European Commission objectives are the same as the Križevci objectives. So this is like project that is a new residential area for 1,000 new inhabitants. It has a rough estimation of 80 million euros of investment, but most definitely what is significant here, that includes a lot of our existing citizens, as they are owners of most of the plot, and they are so far very eager to hear what we say about that. In conclusion, I've heard there are a lot of my colleagues, mayors here. I wanted just to emphasize the fact that if you want, from my point of view or from my experience, if you want to make a significant change on the local level, you have to talk with your citizens on a day-to-day basis. You have to include them in your actions, and most definitely you have to be the main sponsor for all of these projects. I didn't have time to talk about the details of the whole campaigns, but let me assure you, in that 4 months of campaign preparing for crowd investing, it was a rough trip. We had like 3 of these kind of presentations. On the first one, it was only 7 citizens, and they were all negative, and I was there, I was listening for 1 hour and a half, taking every bullet practically. On the second one, it was like 16. The second one was two weeks after the first one, and third one was another 10 days after that, and on that third one was like more than 60 citizens of Križevci, all completely pumped up, let's go to that and so on. But what I'm saying from political point of view, I was on each of that presentation, as citizens are looking up to the directly elected representatives, which are most often municipality mayors, and you cannot make shift from that point of view. Also, and this is definitely my conclusion, keep in mind, at least in Croatia, the politician mandate is 4 years. I'm not sure, maybe in some other countries it's 5 or 6 years, meaning that you don't have a lot of time, but it is a lot of time to make significant changes if you start right away. But if you start with doing strategy documents and doing that like for 3.5 years, you won't do anything significant, and most definitely it is most likely that you will lose next elections. But have in mind that on this green agenda, I was re-elected in 2021 with more than 75% of our citizens' support. Thank you. Once again, I'm not sure if this was 16 minutes, but I would gladly answer any of your questions afterwards. And also, if you have any maybe questions after this, my email is my name.surname@križevci.hr, so please do not hesitate to contact me. Thank you once again.